Could a division to diamond in the rough be exactly what the Atlanta Falcons need to solve their offensive line crisis? While everyone else was panicking about roster cuts and scrambling to find last-minute solutions, Terry Fontenay quietly executed what might be the shrewdest under-the-radar move of the entire offseason. The Falcons just completed a trade with Seattle that perfectly encapsulates everything I love about smart front office work. They sent a conditional 2027 7th-round pick to the Seahawks in exchange for offensive tackle Michael Jarrell, a 6'5", 306-pound former Division II standout who's already proven he can play at the NFL level. This is the kind of low-risk, high-reward maneuvering that separates championship organizations from teams that just hope things work out. Let me tell you why this move is absolutely brilliant. Even though it won't generate any headlines or social media buzz, Jarrell isn't just some practice squad body we're taking a flyer on. He's a 26-year-old tackle who appeared in 10 games for Seattle as a rookie, including 3 starts. That's significant playing time for a 6th-round pick in his first NFL season, and it tells you everything you need to know about how the Seahawks coaching staff viewed his potential. The University of Findlay connection is fascinating too. This isn't your typical Power 5 prospect who had everything handed to him. Throughout his college career, Jarrell had to earn every opportunity, playing in Division II and working his way up through sheer determination and talent. Those kinds of players often have a different mentality when they reach the NFL. They understand that nothing is guaranteed, and they approach every practice, every rep, every opportunity like their career depends on it. What makes this trade even more impressive is the timing. Cutdown day creates chaos throughout the league, with talented players suddenly becoming available as teams make difficult roster decisions. The Seahawks were probably facing some tough choices due to numbers, and Jarrell became expendable not because he can't play, but because Seattle had other priorities and roster construction needs. Our front office recognized this opportunity immediately and pounced on it. A conditional 7th-round pick in 2027 is practically nothing in terms of trade currency. We're talking about a selection that may never even materialize, depending on the conditions attached to it. But we're getting back a player with legitimate NFL experience who can contribute immediately, if called upon. The size and athleticism are exactly what you want in a modern NFL tackle. At 6 feet 5 inches and 306 pounds, Jarrell has the frame to handle edge rushers at the professional level, and his college production suggests he knows how to use that size effectively. Division II football might not get the same attention as the major conferences, but the fundamentals are the same. You either can block or you can't, and Jarrell clearly demonstrated he could handle business at Findlay. This move addresses a critical need without any significant downside risk. Our offensive line depth has been a concern throughout training camp and preseason, especially with injuries creating uncertainty at multiple positions. Adding someone with starting experience, even limited starting experience, gives us another viable option if things go sideways during the regular season. What I love most about this acquisition is that it represents exactly the kind of roster building philosophy that championship teams employ. You don't just wait for stars to become available. You identify players who can contribute and find ways to acquire them at reasonable costs. Sometimes the best moves are the ones that shore up depth rather than make splashy headlines. The fact that Jarrell made 3 starts as a rookie tells you that Seattle trusted him in meaningful situations. NFL coaches don't hand out starting opportunities to players they don't believe in, especially along the offensive line where mistakes can get your quarterback killed. If the Seahawks were comfortable putting him on the field in important games, that's a strong endorsement of his readiness and ability. From Seattle's perspective, this trade probably made perfect sense too. They're dealing with their own roster construction challenges and salary cap considerations, and sometimes good players become available simply because of numbers. Smart organizations like ours recognize these opportunities and capitalize on them before other teams realize what's happening. The development potential here is intriguing as well. At 26 years old, Jarrell is entering what should be his prime physical years, and he's already got a season of NFL experience under his belt. That's exactly the kind of player who can take a significant step forward with proper coaching and opportunity. Our offensive line coaches now have a chance to work with someone who understands the speed and complexity of professional football, but still has room to grow and improve. This trade also demonstrates the importance of having strong relationships throughout the league. These kinds of deals don't happen unless there's trust and communication between front offices. and it suggests that our staff is actively working the phones and looking for ways to improve our roster at every opportunity. The timing couldn't be better. Either we're entering a season where offensive line depth could be crucial to our success, and having additional options gives our coaching staff more flexibility in how they manage the roster throughout the year. Injuries happen, performance varies, and having someone like Gerald available as insurance is invaluable. What makes this move even smarter is that it doesn't prevent us from making other moves if bigger opportunities arise. We haven't committed significant resources or roster spots to a long-term project. We've simply added depth and competition at a position where both are desperately needed. The Division II NFL pipeline might not get much attention, but there's a long history of players from smaller schools making significant contributions at the professional level. Sometimes the best players are the ones who had to prove themselves at every level, who never took anything for granted, and who approached their NFL opportunity with the kind of hunger that can't be taught. This is exactly the kind of smart, calculated roster building that gives me confidence in our front office's ability to construct a competitive team. We're not making desperate moves or overpaying for big names. We're identifying value and acquiring it efficiently. What do you think about this under-the-radar addition, Falcons fans? Are you excited about adding proven NFL experience to our offensive line depth, or do you think we need to be making bigger moves to address our needs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button if you appreciate the front office making smart, proactive decisions that improve our roster without breaking the bank. Sometimes the best moves are the ones that nobody sees coming until they're already done.